Okay, so here I am with my personal hero, Fadzi Whande of Whande Group. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about you?
So I am a Global Diversity and Inclusion Strategist. So I work with organizations, individuals, and communities to really understand diversity and inclusion. So currently I work for the University of Western Australia as their inclusion and diversity advisor.
Very cool. And you've won a few awards in the past year?
Just a little. Last year I was a finalist for the Australian Human Rights Racism Stops With Me award. So I was the only individual in the category with 4 other organizations. And in November, I also won the International Racial Equity Leadership Award at the Courageous Conversations About Race Summit in Texas. So that was a real honor for me because just of the work that, I was doing sort of behind the scenes here in Australia. And sometimes you don't know that people actually, know what you're doing. So to get that recognition there as well as here was just a big thing for me.
So there's a lot of change that has gone on in America since you got that award.
Oh yes, there has. New president, a lot of things have been happening, yeah.
Yeah, I think probably there's been a lot more courageous conversations been going on since that point.
True.
Yeah. What would your advice be to young people growing up in the world that we now find ourselves facing?
I think one of the things that I appreciate about young people is that, they've really managed to get difficult conversations on an agenda, through their use of social media. And I think that what I would really want is for all young people to realize the power that is in having a multiple perspective viewpoint on the world. And that can only happen when you diversify your circles in terms of who you're actually, who are your friends. And I say this to my sons all the time, is that you need to make sure that your friends circle is very diverse. You need to interact with people who might have a different sexuality to you, different culture, etc. And I think that if we can have that as a starting point, it can actually frame our viewpoints and opinions. But I would also tell them that it is important for them to be authentically themselves. We need people who are comfortable with who they are. And I think as a community, as a society, we need to foster more safe places for people to be themselves, because all of us thrive in an environment when we are allowed to shine and flourish and be authentically us, so that the pretense of having to win people's approval, etc. But I'd also say that with that comes responsibility. So when you're talking about being authentically yourself, it doesn't mean you go and start acting like an idiot, but it means that you're responsible enough to know that your actions can have an impact on somebody else's life.
Oh, very wise words as usual. Do you have a favourite movie or book that you would say has changed your life, or you'd recommend people read or see in order to give them something else to think about?
Wow, that's a bit of a difficult one in terms of one that allows multiple perspectives. I haven't thought about it, but one of the books that probably had a profound impact was The Power of One, which is a Bryce Courtney, I think, novel set in South Africa as well. I always remember that, and it was more about I guess it gave me an opportunity to look at things from a different perspective in terms of, the racial tensions that were there and what that could mean. But I think a lot of my viewpoints have been shaped in having difficult conversations with people. So, my friendship circle is very diverse. I'm a Christian, but I have friends who are Muslim. I have, gay and lesbian friends. And so, and really close friends, not just like a acquaintances. And I think that those kind of conversations, those kind of circles, and it's been deliberate on myself, because I feel like if I am going to be authentically me, I need to also understand where people are coming from. And so that stops you from making judgments, based on, stereotypes or things that you might have grown up with. And I try and read a lot. So I read a lot of, things. I love period movies, set in the 18th century. I also like romantic comedies. I like comedies. I like black movies. I like all sorts of things. So I guess because of that, I sort of draw on different people as well.
Very cool. Okay, so this is me and Fadzi Whande at the ACS Young Leaders Symposium. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.